What's up everybody, I'm Chris Forsberg. We're here at Forsberg Racing. This is where we do everything, not just drifting, but road racing, off-road, all of it. But today we're getting things ready for Formula Drift Long Beach, first race of the weekend. We got our extra help coming in from out of town to make sure we have everything dialed in for the weekend, so let's get under the hood. These are all of our championships. So we finished in the top 3 8 times, which is pretty rad. 3 championships and 5 top 3s as well. One of our most successful years in 2016, we won the championship and we actually didn't win a single race. We went 6 podiums in a row. I think that being in Orange County or Costa Mesa specifically is really great for our program because we have so many different resources at our fingertips. Also being in Southern California, we have so many different teams and drivers that have the supplies that you might need. Just being able to work together and having this huge community in SoCal is very helpful. Drifting it's my life. It's all I've ever done. Since I was able to drive a car, I've been trying to slide it. I've been to every single Formula Drift event. We have the most podium finishes. We have the most championships with 2 other drivers. And so just overall, just consistently pushing the limits of drifting. Being at that initial, groundbreaking foundation of drifting in America and still being here today and still running in the top with everybody is really important to me. It's what I know, it's what I'm good at. So when I was on the East Coast, there was the slow development of media really starting to take over. And I found myself going back to California a lot to do these shoots, right? And so it was I gotta get back to California. It's kind of like that internal instinct of don't miss the wave, right? And that's what brought me to California in 03, which is how I landed in FD in 04. And so same thing like that. 2016, I was I gotta get back to California. I love it here and this is my home now. Years ago, I got inducted, and so it was myself, Ryan Campbell, and Robbie Gordon were the first 3 people that were inducted into the Los Angeles Sports Walk of Fame, and we got our plaques in the ground. With all the trophies and all the cool memorabilia and all the cars and stuff, this is the one thing that's gonna be around long after I'm gone.
Chris Forsberg gets the win.
We don't have the wildest machine shop, but it's all the machinery that we need to build what we do here in the shop. We use hard stock for doing our motorsports harnesses and the race cars. We'll do our simple little pieces here. Same thing with machine work. All of our engines are built off-site. However, we'll do final assembly and things like that here. Fabrication-wise, we're not building full billet intake manifolds here, but if we have to cut, grind, weld, things like that, we'll do that here. We're still just chasing after that podium. Of course, it's easy to say we're chasing for a 4th championship. That's what we do every year. We come to win. And so would love to be the first to 4. And I think that we have a really good shot at it this year. It's going to be a super crazy competition this year. So many diverse drivers. Everybody's running 10 out of 10. There's not too many new cars that you have to worry about. Someone like Osbo debuting a new chassis and maybe they'll have an issue. Everybody's very dialed and locked in with their current package. So it will certainly be difficult, but I think that we have one of the best chances that we've had in a long time for it. I think we put a lot of extra effort into the off season this year to give our car a little more flash, a little more style, a little more color, more pop, having some more carbon fibers, some more little angular bits on it to make it look less smooth on track, if you will. The body on the car has been pretty factory for the past 2 years, and now there's more aftermarket parts available. We have more angular pieces wrapped around the bottom of the car to help with the visualization of throwing the car to angle. We have a really, really great team going this year. Everybody's vibing together really well, working hard. This is our buddy Camden Fox. He's from, where are you from? Indianapolis, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a smaller town outside of Indianapolis. My dad's from Indianapolis, so you guys should hang out. And so what Cam's doing here is getting our extra calipers on here, and the rotors are on, and we're gonna put our dry brakes on these brake lines and get them, how would you say it, preloaded, if you will. We're gonna preload them with fuel so that when we swap a subframe, we can actually just quick disconnect it, get in the car, and have a full rear suspension dropout change, and ideally under than 10 minutes. So part of the Formula Drift rules is that we have to utilize the unibody chassis of the car from shock tower to shock tower, and we have to utilize the factory suspension mounting points within 2 inches. So you can see we move our suspension point about 2 inches in a couple different places, but we are not allowed to completely change the subframe out. We have to utilize the factory style, because that is one of the cool things about drifting, is that you can run so many different types of vehicles. They're not custom spec chassis, they're not just off the wall builds. They are unibodies that you can buy and build on your own. So running the factory subframes for the factory vehicle is what keeps everybody in check. Foot on the wheel.
Big foot.
There you go, okay, feet out. Cool.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. I would say that, yeah, it definitely helps to have a shop to, do all these modifications, where we have a place to have the machinery to make the modifications, but you would be surprised with how far you could get building a professional drift car with the accessibility that you now have to parts. Like back in the day, we used to have to make everything. There were very few parts you could just buy and bolt onto the car. We were making our own angle kits and cutting and modifying knuckles, things like that. And now, making a car like this would be very difficult in your own home garage, but technology is pretty amazing nowadays. We like to do things, the old-fashioned way and make it ourselves and make it better.
As Forsberg continues on, and it's all new Z, Forsberg. Dialed right now, he's got the VR setup, the GTR.
So this is our 3rd year on the Nissan Z chassis, and we actually, when we first got it, it was a bone stock car top to bottom, and we built it in like 5.5 weeks, and it was a heavy lift, right? So it was getting some upgrades throughout the year, right? We're finding little ways to make the car better. It hit the ground running. We qualified 6th right out of the gate with a brand new build, so we're really happy about that. But overall, we've been finding little ways to make the car better, easier to work on. We found a lot of weight. We pulled 50 pounds out of the car this year, a lot of it off the front end, which is the worst place that you want that extra weight to be. Still utilizing the VR38 engine. We have higher compression this year. We have slightly smaller turbos, and we're basically maxing them out to get the most efficiency out of them possible to get the response that we're looking for. The V8 setup, I really did enjoy it, but I still don't think that it would be able to make the power that we need to compete out there. We're fully committed to the VR38 twin turbo, making 1,000 to the ground now, so it's about 1,200 at the crank. And yeah, the car's been fantastic for the past 2 years. The VR30 is the engine that comes in the new Nissan Z, so it has a twin turbo V6 engine. However, this is the VR38, this is a GTR engine. So it's a slightly stronger block foundation, it's a different casting, it's a different setup, and it just has a little more aftermarket behind it, since it's been available since 2009, versus the VR30 has only been out for a few years. And we know that these are capable of making a lot of horsepower. There's guys that are making 2,000 horsepower on factory blocks and upwards of 4,000 horsepower on billet blocks. So whenever it comes to drifting, if someone says something's rated for 1,000 horsepower and your drift car's making 1,000 horsepower, you're gonna break it. So to fit this engine into the car, there's a slew of custom components that we put into it outside of just engine mounts and transmission adapters. But we run the pretty typical GSR 4-speed NASCAR style transmission, which has made it up to a SFI style bell housing, and we have a custom adapter plate that adapts that to the engine. Outside of that, we have a daily dry sump oil pan to eliminate the front differential and the front factory oil pan, so that we can get the engine sitting nice and low. We have a custom intake manifold. We make our own turbo exhaust manifolds. We use Garrett twin turbo G30 660s this year. We went a little smaller. We were running G30 770s last year. And then everything else that you see under here is pretty custom with the PWR intercooler, the way we make the piping, intakes, the hot pipes, the exhaust, the down tubes, and all that. All the plumbing, everything is all done here in-house. We were literally running 60 pounds in our tires back in I want to say 2007 or so, maybe even 2008 a little bit. We were running over 50 pounds at times at a track like Seattle, because we're making 350 horsepower, And so you just have the tires rock hard, because the tires are pretty decent still, and so you have to counteract the grip of the tire with pressure. But now they have so much power, we have quick changes, and everything is just robust that we're just looking for as much traction as possible. We run the Part Shop Max full bolt-on kit, so this is same type of kit. You can buy and bolt on to your Z, 350, 370, the all new Z. They have the components for all that. And this is what I was talking about, where if you pick and choose, you know, the right recipe, you could build one of these cars at home. All the suspension components bolt in. You can buy engine swaps that bolt in. Some of the main things that we would do on the front end to make the car drive better is you would have, like right here, is you can adjust your camber and also your track width by the length of this lower control arm. You can change your spring rate by moving this point in and out, different leverage point. These are your sway bar pickups, so you can change your sway bar tension and how much force it generates onto the other side of the car by moving this point inside and out with more or less leverage. And then obviously you have your coilover, where you have up to three ways of adjustability on the BC Racing coilover. So you have your rebound up top, and then you have your compression, low speed and high speed down here on this extra reservoir. And so that's where you can really fine tune the car to make it respond differently on how it leans, how it jacks. You can change your spring rates, you know, to anything you want. Some people run softer, some people like stiffer. And that also correlates to what type of sway bar you're running, if any at all. You know, what your tire size is. There's so many different things that all work together to give you the controllability and the grip that you're looking for. We're now into our 21st season. We've done 20, and we've always have found success. And so it's just, basically we're coming to a point where I'm not quite sure what we'll be in 3 to 5 years, but while we're here now, we're gonna kick some ass.